So we're starting to get everything together. We've got the building completed back here all the way around. So we're gonna put in a green chain and have all the stuff go out. But I want to show you guys something today. So on my edger, we saw a lot of wide boards and things that have to be broken down quickly, especially when we saw pallet material or anything like that. You get a lot of sizes that you want to go through. Now, I had showed this edger a while back ago, but we've done quite a bit of things to it differently since we've had the edger over time. You know, it used to start with a diesel motor. We've swapped it to 3-phase electric, swapped the pulleys on it. And on the inside, I've redone the shafts before, but I just redone them again. And I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago, but I was gonna show you guys this. So if you wanna do it to your edger, you can. You'll just have to have a big enough edger to do so. So I'll turn this camera around and kind of show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see here, you know, we swapped over to 3-phase, put the buttons on it, stop, start. We're used to, you'd start the motor, blah, blah, blah. So we run a lot of boards through that are doubles. And I'm gonna show you this. So like on this board here, you know, if you're not sawing grade, you know, if you sawing grade, you would just knock the bark off both sides. So you wouldn't have to worry about it. But now if you're doing pallet material, you're making 3.5s, 5.5s, or 7.25s, you know, on this board. If you just ran a 7.25 down the middle to get it through fast, you would lose a lot of material. So what we've done is we have added a third blade to the edger. And the way I did it, so if you've got one of these Logmaster edgers, which are hard to come by, I highly recommend these. I really like it. They're almost indestructible. I've had this for almost 20 years. But originally this had 2 blades. So it has one that moves from side to side. And then the other one is right here. And I'm gonna show you why you want a split blade combo. This is one of the main things that I see people that they don't look at in the industry is they get a sawmill and you've got to take the whole shaft out to change your blades. I would not recommend that. To me, that's a stupid design. But anyway, you can do what you want. But so originally it had one set blade here that set right here on this, and then this one would move. Now I've loosened this up to show you guys. So if you want to change the blades on this, you just back all 4 of these bolts out, and then you take this bolt out here. As you can see, it's starting to move. But if I take this bolt out here, that lets the whole blade slide up and out of that collar. And then I can slide blades back down in it. Like I've got another set here, but this one they busted a tooth off in there with something. But anyway, I can change those blades out within minutes. So basically you just take, like if you want to put another blade in it, you just take this blade, put it over in here, slide it down, make sure your teeth line up when you're going to put the bolts in, and line it up. Now I'm going to put this on here to show you, but you can see how easy it is to swap blades on this. It's super fast. So like I was saying, now I've put a third blade on there. And if you guys have a Logmaster edger, they went out of business. So if you go to my Facebook page for our sawmill and contact me, I can tell you how you can get a shaft and collar and all that made. I've got a guy that has all the patents and stuff because I've took all the stuff to him for measurements. But what we've done is we've added this secondary blade on here. So I had a collar made for it. Now, one of the things that we've learned over time, and I'm going to show you that, is on these stationary collars, a lot of times if you don't have a bump stop in between there to keep it from hitting, your guys will run the blades into the collars and smack them together. Now, what we've done is, let me see if I can get down in here to show you. So on this side here, and if you've got an original edger like this, you'll be able to see instantly that my collars are different than the factory. So over here, I've added this collar, and when they run into it, it gives them exactly 4 inches between this blade and that blade. So there's no guessing, and they're not smacking it into this collar, because before, when this edger comes from the factory, you could run that blade over there and smack it right into that collar. So I had this clamp ring built and put on there. So not only does it keep vibration out of my keyway and take the stress off of it, but it also keeps them from smacking these blades together. Now on my collars here, I had them made to where they butt up back to back and fit together. And the original collar that came on this had two sets of set screws. It had a set screw here and a set screw on the other side. And before we put this on, they would smack them together, and over time it would wiggle and move that and bend it and just all kinds of stuff going down that keyway and mess that keyway up. So that's why we put this here. But then I had these collars made, and I had it made to where it had exactly 4 inches, or 3 and 3, you know, right below 4 inches, because we don't really need exactly 4. But now they can run a board through and get 2 boards at the same time and take the bark off of both sides. Now, like I said, when you're looking at these edgers, a lot of people, if you go back and watch my video, I'll explain everything that I'm talking about in detail, but you want a deep-throated edger with a big, wide open mouth to be able to do so, and it's gonna have to have a pretty big shaft in it, probably a 2-inch shaft at minimum, like this one. Otherwise, you might break your shaft in half, because that's a lot of stress going on to that, especially if you're running 4x6s through this or anything, because I've kind of set this up as a little gang edger, plus it's got a movable blade, so you can still take up to 18, 19-inch wide blades or boards and cut through there. But I'm going to show you how this works, so if you guys want to do it with your edger, it'll kind of give you an idea. And like I said, you can, if you want to do this to another edger, all you need to know is you need to know your shaft size and your keyway size, and then how wide you want your collars. Like I said, if you've got a Logmaster edger, I can take all the guesswork out of it, and I can literally have you drop shipped a set of collars with the shaft, keyway, anything that you need. I've got a guy that has all this on hand ready to go. So if that's something you're looking for your Logmaster edger that you picked up, like I said, we put this, you know, 3-phase motor on here, and then we swapped all this out and changed the pulleys to match the electric motor. But you'll also have to have a bigger motor, because the more that you start running through this, the more power it takes to take that board through. But anyway, we've got a 40-horse motor on here that's electric, which is equivalent to like an 80-horse diesel. So it's more than 90% of the sawmills. So it's got plenty of power. But like I said, this, on these boards here, I'm going to show you how it works. So before I turn this on, I was going to kind of talk about this again. But this board here is 10.5 inches. Now, if you're sawing grade lumber, which this is definitely not grade, you can see where it's starting to break there. The sides of it was doty and kind of rotten. It's pallet wood. So to make this into the best possible pallet wood, to get you the most money, you're trying to get the most pieces of boards out of it. Well, if you've just got a 2-blade edger, you're going to run it through and make your 6, because it's 10.5 wide, your blades are 1/4 inch. So every time you run this through, you're losing 1/4 inch. So the moment you run it through and get a 6, that leaves you 4.5 inches. Now then you've got to bring that all the way back and re-edge it again. Now with these double blade deal, my guy already knows that there's a 4 over here, so he can put this all the way over here to where that secondary blade is. It's right here beside that keyway, because he knows that. And then he can move his other blade over here to 6, like I'm going to show you guys, and split it and make 2 boards at one time. So let me show you what that looks like, just so you guys know. I got to flip the switch. I had my hands in there. Didn't want to lose a finger. I've seen too many people lose hands, fingers, arms, all kinds of stuff in these edgers. See how smooth that is? And then we kick the rollers forward. But basically, we're going to put this on a 6 in the middle. And then we're just going to run it through and get our boards. Now you can see here, it shaved the side over there. You've got your 4 and your 6 out of the edger there, and that gives you 2 boards out of each pass. Got rid of your wane and your side. I mean, to me, adding that other blade just gives you a way quicker deal, and I can already tell that it keeps my guys from getting backed up, especially if you saw a really, really big log. What it's going to do is let you have 2 or 3 boards, because we'll sometimes run 2 boards through there, 3 boards, you know, stacked on top of each other. And so not only do you have your straight edge over here, but you've got a quick 4 for anything that's small. They never have to move the blade, so they're not having to work it over and get it right where you need it. It's always there. And then you've also got 4, 6, 7, whatever you need from this side over. It's still on this edger, gives you like 20 inches in the inside that you can make boards, you know, width-wise. And then also, like on your real wide grade boards, you know, you can just center it over here and get you a skinny 4 out of the side and then have the rest of it grade off. It just gives you a huge advantage to your edger. I would highly recommend it. Not a lot of edgers have that from the factory, but that 3rd blade just gives you way more production where you can get stuff through there. I'm not a fan of a fan of spiders, but look at this. That thing's got a sack of babies on it. Yes. I mean, that's on the bottom of one of them railings. That thing is probably got a 3-inch wide spread. Ugh. Tyler, you gonna take it home with you? I believe that thing could catch a bird. I believe that could catch a bird. The other day I was sawing and I kept seeing dust fall from my roof when I was in there, and a snake fell from the ceiling and landed on the floor and jumped up in the conveyor and went down through there.